Shalom and aloha, everybody. I am setting up for the final quarter activation. For those of you who are new to these videos, they've been going on every week according to the 4 quarters of the moon for years now. And an awesome global community has built around these activations. So they don't actually have anything to do with the moon, other than the fact that we use the moon as a measurement of time, because it's such an easy way for us to, as a global collective, keep track. Gives us some structure. So the final quarter activation is always about, okay, last week we had the full moon, we saw the full picture, and we've been working on accepting what has just unfolded, accepting what has just been revealed to us. And now we're at a point where we get it, and we're ready to move on. And next week is the new moon. We're ready for it. We're almost ready for it. So the final quarter is this in-between the full moon and the new. Ready to finish up this process of integrating all that's happened this month so that we can clear space for the new cycle to begin. As always, I'm tuning in from the amazing Sedona, Arizona, land of the vortices, magical place. And I would love to know in the comments where you're tuning in from. So just drop a comment and let me know, where in the world are you? I love seeing this grid that we create every week. It's so awesome. Go ahead and let me know in the comments, where are you tuning in from? I'm just shuffling all of your energies into the deck. Go ahead and let go of whatever it is you've been carrying all day, all week, all month, all year. Just open up. Open up. Be empty. Be the vessel so that this information can come in. It's not about all the other stuff right now. We need to just be open to receive. And drop into your heart of hearts, where you and I are one. So good to see you all. Drop a comment. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Kauai, Queens, New York, Jacksonville, Florida. Awesome. Keep it coming, you guys. All right, so final quarter. About to begin. Thank you in advance, Archetypes, Faces of the One, for revealing to us the message of the week, the activating message of the week. This is an activation portal, and we are about to receive a download. Go ahead and connect to the deck however you know how. Everything is mind, the principle of mentality. Remember, the Hermetic principle of mentality is the first principle. All is mind. So use your unique imagination to connect to the deck. Connect with me in this moment. You can picture yourself here right now. You can picture yourself shrinking and jumping into the deck. You can send a thread of light from your inner eye or from your sacral chakra or from wherever you want to this deck. Do whatever you do to connect. And you can see all these people tuning in, and even think of all of the people who are going to tune in to the recording after. Think of all of them, everyone who's going to receive this download, and see yourself connecting. Maybe we're all holding hands around the earth. And hey, if you know of anybody who might appreciate this message and might want to jump in this activation portal live, then go ahead and share it with them now. Share it on your wall. Maybe share it with a group right now that you're a part of. Maybe a new earth group, light worker group, meditation, yoga, whatever. Self-love, self-help. Share it now so that we can get all of our brothers, bro stars, and sis stars into the portal, okay? And if you'd prefer to watch till the end and share then, that's up to you. Let's get this portal open. So, what is the thing that we've been working hard at and we're ready to let go of? What's the thing that we're cutting the final cords or doing the final integration with? What's our challenge with that right now? Biggest challenge, which also becomes the gift and the bridge to the future. And what does it look like around us in our environment, our relationships and our environment? Is it in support of where we are at? What are those surrounding energies? And we begin. So, the first card, what are we ready to finish up? This has come up recently, actually. If you've been following our activations, this has been coming up. And so it looks like something that we've been working on a while and we're just finally closing up. This came up a couple of cycles ago, actually. So we're learning a new way to bring our inner balance into manifestation. We're learning a new way to bring that balance into our reality. And the thing is, we may have thought that we were balanced before. We may have had a definition of balance, or may have had this idea of what we wanted that balance to look like in our lives. But now we're learning that this balance is going to look really different. That we're finding new ways of behaving, new ways of thinking, new ways of speaking, new ways of relating to others that are reflecting to us what we really need to find that balance. Pieces that we may have been missing before are now coming to the light. Okay, so we're realizing that there are different ways that we need to behave in order to manifest that balance. It's not what we always thought it was. There have been many things revealed to us this month that have showed us things about ourselves that we're ready to now integrate in order to actually manifest a reality that is a true reflection of that balance within. Okay, so there have been new parts of ourselves that we discovered during this cycle. Okay, we're in Aquarius season right now, so it's like all about this mental expansion, progression. And so we're craving the integration of these new things that we've learned about ourselves. And that's exactly what we're about to step into. We're about to step into these opportunities to do just that, to actualize the changes that we've been working on within, deep inside of ourselves. Okay, so this can also look like new relationships coming in, of relationships ending. So a lot of endings and new beginnings this can look like. Because in order to find that new balance, big things need to shift. So lots of new things will be coming into your life, and things that you've been holding on to for so long will leave your life to make space for those new things. Perhaps there are things that you've been going through this month where you realize that you haven't been giving yourself enough attention, or giving yourself the right attention. You haven't been necessarily open to receive exactly what you need on your path. And it's always being given to you. It's always being given to us, because nothing is outside of divine order. And God doesn't give us anything we can't handle. Nothing more, nothing less. Just exactly what is tailor fit for our path, of course. And so that's what these lessons have been about this month. And we're realizing how to open up more to those things that we actually need, and also how to be more giving in those ways that are really appropriate to the people around us, to our environment. We're learning how to be better givers and receivers. Does this ring a bell, you guys? Remember this activation recently? This card came up and we spoke about that message. Now we're really getting clear on that, and we're manifesting material opportunities to actualize what we learned from this piece of archetypal wisdom so recently. We've been learning new ways to be better givers and receivers, better transmitters. And now we're being given the opportunity to prove that, to show what we've learned, to integrate what we've learned. And let's see, what's the biggest challenge as we move through this process of becoming better givers and receivers? What's our biggest challenge in this in-between week, right? Because we're at the final quarter moon, in between the full moon and the new moon. So what's the challenge? Okay, and I feel like this one also came up recently. Look at the Roman numerals. See the pattern up there? The 4, now we have a 6. And this is Wands, so it's the suit of fire, it's spirit. And this is the card of victory. Okay, see that angry guy there? There's a little angry man. And what he's representing is that karma that knocks us off our horse when we don't get to that place of victory from a righteous path. When we cut corners, or we get to that victory from a place of deception or any kind of a sin. You know, if you lied your way to that victory, if you cheated your way to that victory, you gon' get knocked off that horse. Okay, and this man, like, yeah, you got to see all the characters as you. Like, even that horse is you. They're all just different aspects of you, because everything is one. And so that man is not anybody separate from you. It's not like, oh man, you know, that person is actually a reflection of this person in my life who's trying to take away what's mine. Honey, what's yours is going to be yours. What's meant for you will be yours. Can't blame anybody else. If you get knocked off that horse, it's not anyone else's fault but your own. Because if you truly make it to this place of victory by way of the virtuous path, then it can't be taken from you. Then your victory will be sustainable. And so it's fire. Wands is fire, spirit. So what we want to do when you see the element that's pulled, you want to first consider the message that's being revealed in the spiritual realm, on the spiritual plane. That's what you want to think of first. Okay, so victory in regard to the spirit plane, the spiritual plane, would look like making sure that your victories have their roots in the spirit realm. Okay, that whatever you're doing is for the highest good of the one. It's for the highest good of your soul. It's for the highest good of your soul's evolution. Okay, so for example, if you have a certain victory on the material plane, it's like a material victory, but it's not actually bringing you any spiritual victory. It doesn't actually have long-lasting meaning. Then is it really much of a victory? So we want to ask ourselves, what are our goals currently? And how are they going to bring us long-lasting prosperity? And what's more is, how are these goals and the successes that will follow upon completing those goals, how is that going to contribute to the highest good of not just my path, but how is it going to bring sustainable success and prosperity for the all and for generations to come? But not just your kids, maybe their kids too. How can you make the most of this victory? So our challenge is this. We want to make sure that whatever we're going through right now, as we come to this new balance in life, as we learn to be more open to the gifts of life, and as we learn to be more open to giving as well, as we learn to be these better transmitters, we need to be careful and make sure that we're doing it with kindness, that we're doing it with compassion, that whatever cords we're cutting, we're doing it with compassion. That whatever new relationships, new jobs, new projects we're beginning, we're setting a foundation that is built upon truth, universal truth. Because when you have a foundation that is built upon that, you have a sustainable, solid foundation to grow upon. And so everything you do right now, make sure you're doing it with this future success in mind, okay? What does your vision of success really look like for yourself, for your loved ones, for the world, for the one and all? What does that look like? And how can you ensure that success right now? By carefully, strategically choosing your thoughts, your words, and your actions. Making sure that they reflect virtue, morality. How can you make sure that you're finding this new balance now and doing whatever you have to do in the name of manifesting this balance, but with compassion, with kindness, making sure that once you achieve this new balance, it's sustainable. It's not going to take so much effort because maybe you did it from a place of untruth or you did it from a place of dishonesty. Okay, so if you're dishonest right now in your process, or if you lash out at people that you're really just needing to peacefully cut the cord on, or if you're being overly dramatic about this process of endings and new beginnings, then you're not going to start off on the best foot. You want to do it gracefully, patiently, honestly, kindly. Look up the virtues, Google it. What are the virtues? And rest in that frequency. Make sure you're staying on that path right now, because it's going to determine how sustainable your success is. And also our success, because you're doing this for us. Each one does it for the one. So I'm asking you And we, all of us tuning into this portal, are asking you to do this, to stay in your heart, to stay on the virtuous path, to ensure prosperity for yourself, for your loved ones, and for all of us together as one. This is the biggest challenge right now. To keep in mind that we're doing this for long-term success, not for some temporary satisfaction. Okay. And then how are people supporting us right now or not supporting us? How is our environment either supporting us or not supporting us? Okay, it's time for this. I'm in the desert, need to hydrate. How is our environment either supporting us or not? Page of Wands. We have another Wands card here. Okay, this message feels really clear. Let me know in the comments if this resonates with you guys. It definitely resonates with me. Our environment is giving us all of the opportunities we need right now to be inspired so that we can actually make a change. Our environment is providing us with all of the spiritual inspiration that we need to move ahead. You may have friends in your circle, old or new, who are cheering you on, supporting you, giving you that fire that you need to feel inspired. But our environment, it looks like, is very supportive right now of us feeling that passion that we need to progress. And if it's not what the message is here is, put yourself there. Get yourself into an environment that does that, that does this. Surround yourself with those people and with those things and in those places that are going to inspire your spirit to go in the direction it really needs to go in. So looking at these two, for example, because they're both fire, spirit, fire element. Okay, this in regard to this. Surround yourself with people who are going to inspire you in new ways to stay on that virtuous path. Not people who are going to burn your fire higher in the wrong ways so that you end up getting burned yourself or burning others around you. This is fire. It's a lot of fire. So think about it. What is your fire like today? First of all, how do you even define the fire element? How do you connect to it? How do you relate to it? What is your relationship with the fire element? Because you are made of that. And it is within you and all around you. So first get in touch with that. Start there. How do you relate to fire? And then ask yourself, how am I using that right now? Not just for myself, but for myself, of which we're all a part, for the one. How am I using that fire right now? And what we're being shown is use it, use it, use it. Tune into your fire. But make sure that you're being inspired in ways that are wholesome and good and righteous and true. And if you're not, get there. And this card was showing us it's time to surround ourselves with people, places, things that are going to support the building of that fire for the highest good of the one. Who can you call on today? Who can you hang out with? Where can you go to be inspired, to be your best self, to stay on the virtuous path, to burn that fire as fuel, to be good, do good, be kind, be of service. Get yourself to where you need to be, to feel the inspiration, to stay on the path you know you need to be on in order to manifest the right balance in your life. Okay? And if you feel for some reason like, man, it's really hard to continue on that path. I want to be mean. I want to be impatient. I want to be jealous. I want to be whatever it is, all these things, right? That's when you want to get yourself to a place or around people who are going to remind you of who you really are, assist you in getting back to your center, getting back to your heart of hearts, so that you can stay on that path and stay strong despite the temptation to fall into jealousy, anger, hatred, dishonesty, impatience. So you can get back to your true self and stay on that path no matter how hard it is. That path, that virtuous path, which is going to lead you to true success, which is going to mean that you're contributing to the true success and prosperity of the one and all. And then from there, you will have manifested that new balance in your physical, material reality, which, hey, you've already been working on inside. Okay, so we've already done all this inside work. Now we're trying to bring this balance into manifestation on the outside. And in order to do that, we got to stay on the right path. Otherwise, that new balance that we come to is going to reflect whatever work we didn't really complete. You understand what I'm saying? So if you really want to come to your highest potential of balance at this time, because it's always growing, but at this time, your highest potential, if you want to reach that, you have to do whatever it takes to stay on that virtuous path. Because any little thing that you do from a space that is not that place of virtue, it's going to reflect, and it's going to be like this guy. And he's going to come to knock you off your horse. And you can't be mad because it'll only be your own doing. So don't cut corners. And don't hang out with people who are going to take you off of that virtuous path. Intentionally surround yourself with those people who are going to inspire your spirit to do good. So that that fire ends up burning in such a way that you're excited and passionate about doing good. And that feeling, that fire burning within you, overpowers all of the false temptations that would only serve to bring you temporary success. Selfish, too. Certainly not going to contribute to the everlasting prosperity of the one. So that's what we want to do. We want to get that inner fire burning to do good. We want our will to do good to be on fire right now. That's hot. That's sexy. That's empowering. And sometimes that fire to do bad, to live in sin, or to give into temptation, that fire burns so good, doesn't it? You know, it's like people who are addicted to drugs or alcohol or relationship, and then they fulfill that desire and they do the drugs, they drink the alcohol, or they surround themselves with that person they're addicted to. It feels good. They're like, yeah, I'm filling that hole. I'm satisfying that craving. But I promise you that nothing feels better than having the will to do good, letting that fire burn, not for sin, but for virtue, for goodness, and then using that fire and allowing it to move through you, and for that light to be actualized in our world through you. You will feel so good. You will feel so empowered. You know, you fill a hole with a craving, like a selfish desire, and you might feel good for a bit. But when you fulfill this purpose in using your fire, your will for good, that feeling you get after of victory, of success, is everlasting. Because you're contributing to a light that is eternal. And that's where we want to be. We want to feel the burning fire to do good. And some people might look at that and say, that's so corny. Or whatever, that's like fairy tale talk. But it's really not. It's very real. It's so real. It's more real than any of your bullshit addictions and desire to fill those temporary holes. When you let your fire burn for goodness and in the name of the highest good of the one, and you tune into that fire and you allow it to move through you to manifest goodness in this world, that is success. Because it's not just success for you, the little you, like Rebecca in this human body in this life. It's success that lasts forever, that will affect your children and your children's children and your children's children's children, and so on and so forth. That's the success we're trying to reach. So surround yourself with people who are going to inspire you to do that. And then, when you do that, and you do it together with those people who have inspired you to behave that way, you unite your light. And something very powerful happens, because remember, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. So you see, this is only the first step. We're going to surround ourselves with people who help us be in that space to be the best version of ourselves. And then when we're all being the best version of ourselves, we organically come together, and we together as one be the best version of ourself, our united collective self. And that's why we're here. We're here to pull ourselves out of separateness consciousness and get into galactic consciousness. And it can be scary to jump there and say, oh, I'm going to live for the one instead of myself. It can be scary. It's like, oh no, but this world is dog eat dog and I need to be selfish. Otherwise, I'm going to die. This is an illusion. This is an illusion. And the more you surrender to the truth that all things really are one, not just sometimes, like all the time, everything is always one, always has been, always will be. The more you surrender to that and start to build your life upon that truth, no matter how contradictory it seems to the world of appearances around you, the more you start to live from this oneness consciousness, from this collective, galactic consciousness, the more you'll see your life will become easier. The challenges will still be there, but you'll be carried through it because you'll recognize your oneness with the elements, which are the fabric of reality, and they will carry you through every experience. So at first it might seem scary to jump into that world of oneness, but when you do, you will see the whole universe will conspire in your favor. All of nature will move to support you because you recognize your oneness with it. And instead of resisting that, you build your life around that and you work with it. And when you work for the one works for you. So let's summarize this here. Okay, the reading, the message, the activation, the download for this week that all of us are uniting in. And thousands and thousands of people are going to see this, you guys. So let's really be aware of that and tune into that and use this for the highest good of the one. The message that we're all receiving together is this. We are recognizing that we have a new bar to set, that we have a new frequency of potential to rise to be attuned to. We want to reach that frequency. We want to reach our highest potential for balance right now. And in order to do that, we need to stay on the virtuous path. We need to honor spirit. We need to honor truth. We need to build a life upon virtue, morality, universal truth. So that as we move forward, making decisions that are going to affect us big time in the future, we're doing it with truth, love, kindness, honesty, patience, compassion, forgiveness, all the virtues. And we're surrounding ourselves with people and things, putting ourselves in situations and places that are going to support us, staying on that virtuous path, so that the balance that organically becomes manifested as a byproduct of that reflects our highest self, which is aligned with, at this point, hopefully, universal truth. Okay, so for example, a few months from now, we're going to be in a totally different world. Shoot, you know how much we're changing moment to moment, day to day? So I encourage you to meditate on this. A few months from now, you're going to be in a totally different place. Where do you want to be in that moment? See that now. And ask yourself, how can I get there? By being my best self, by staying on this virtuous path, by surrounding myself with people who are going to support that. And specifically removing myself from situations and relationships that are contradictory to that, not in alignment with that. Okay, so see your vision of the future and ask, is that vision really a reflection of success, not just for you, but for us all? Because you're not living just for yourself. That's why this is a collective reading. Okay? So see that vision, ask yourself if it needs any refining, and then see yourself getting there from this virtuous moral place. Because the real goal isn't that vision that you have. That's only temporary too. That will fade away. The real goal, the real reason we're all here, we share a goal, is to be virtuous, is to attune our frequency to the all virtuous light of compassion, which contains all of the virtues within it, which is the original light of God, creation, the original emanation. That's why we're here. So whatever your vision is, ask yourself, is it going to provoke that spirit within you, that truthful, honest, patient, kind, forgiving, compassionate spirit? Make sure that your goals are ones that invite your soul to enter your body and actualize this virtuous light in our world. Okay, so are your goals encouraging you to do that and be that right now? Because that's how it should be. And see yourself. Have fun with it. See yourself walking this virtuous path all the way to your goal. And affirming that I'm not going to cut corners. And I'm going to intentionally place myself in those situations that are going to support me staying on this virtuous path. Thank you so much for joining me in this week's Activation Portal. You can hit follow on my Facebook. I'm sorry if I don't see your friends' requests. There are so many and they all get lost in there. So you can just hit follow, and that way you'll get notifications when I go live every week. The next one will be for the new moon. I also have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/Rebecca Magic. You can hit subscribe, and that way you make sure that if you miss the live, you can always have the recordings. They're nice and organized on there. Feel free to share my Facebook and my YouTube channel with friends and family, or with groups that you love. If you think someone could benefit from this message, please go ahead and share it with them. If you have a powerful light worker friend or, just a powerful friend, a good human being who could potentially help us to fortify this activation portal this week, please send it to them. I appreciate it. And if you want to join my private groups on Facebook, I have two. One of them is called The Royal Path, which is the same name as my very first book I published. Second one is on its way. So again, it's called The Royal Path, and that's where we all meet to discuss archetypal awareness and activation, tarot, Kabbalah. And I have also another private group called Shabbat Crew, Shabbat Crew. And that is where I share about Jewish mysticism every week. I share the mystical import behind the current Torah story. And I share all my favorite sources there. Share about the Jewish holidays and really how the messages can apply to all beings. I share about the technology of Torah and how it's accessible to all of us and how it's really a code. So this is all Kabbalah, basically. So if you like that, go ahead and find my private group, Shabbat Crew. Thank you all so much for your orders this week. I'm sold out of my book. I'm waiting for my next shipment. If you've been wanting a book from me, please PM me to reserve a copy. I'd be happy to ship it out to you. And yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you so much. My birthday is tomorrow, so thanks for sharing this special moment with me. This is the activating message for my birthday week. And I'm turning the big 3-0. This is my 3rd decade. So this is a very beautiful and empowering way to bring in this year. Thank you all for sharing it with me. I'm sending so much love, and I will see you in Shabbat Crew, because I'm going to share today some of my favorite resources explaining tomorrow's Torah story for Shabbat. So I'll see you there, and I'll also see you next week for the new moon activation, and I already can't wait for that. Thank you all so much. Shalom.